Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you are just here for the free stuff, the link is in the doobly-doo down below. To everyone else, hello. It is so nice to see you. I am back from Texas. Thank you so much for letting me pre-film some stuff. I know I tried to keep it fresh and fun every week, but I really wanted to get a video out, but also I really wanted to spend time with my family. So I appreciate everyone for the patience. Today is LootLetter Day. It is the day that, I don't know if you guys know this, but I have a newsletter where I release stuff, PDFs, for you to download and keep on that 3 terabyte hard drive of yours. It's just full of TTRPG content. I release stuff that I have created over the month, over the years, over everything, and allow it for your viewing pleasure. So that is what the LootLetter is, and it is super duper fun. I've been having so much fun with it. I've started it in January, so it's almost a year old, which is super duper exciting. And yeah, it's been going really well. It's been quite successful. And I have just been thrilled at the responses that people have to the things that I am creating. And this time, I am giving you one of my most, I would say, most accomplished one-shots that I've ever written. And I'll tell you why. So I wrote this one-shot quite some time ago, and it's actually published in a book. If you want the book, I'll put the book in the doobly-doo down below as well, if you want it in print. But I published this one-shot quite a while ago. It was a series of one-shots that I was doing for a Patreon, and each one of these one-shots that I did, I wanted to challenge myself in some way. I wanted to make myself think outside the box, be creative, just like this LootLetter is. That's essentially what the LootLetter started. LootLetter started as a Patreon, as a friend's Patreon, and then whenever the Patreon concluded, I took it and became the LootLetter. So I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to do something interesting, and something that I actually really struggle with is making my adventures, making my storytelling, making anything that I make age appropriate. That's not something that I'm very good at. I'm not good at telling stories to kids. I'm not good at telling stories for minors. I tend to get into very mature subjects in my storytelling, and it tends to be difficult for me to reel that back. So I was like, you know what? I think it's really important in a skill as a writer to be able to write for all ages. I think not like children, like babies, but like all ages. And so that is what this was. This was me writing this. In my mind, an adult is running it and kids are playing it. That is how I imagine this one-shot being run. So that's how I wrote it. I wrote it with kids in mind. And at first, I actually did several different drafts of this one-shot. I did a draft where it was about bubbles. I did a draft where it like bubble people, like bubble people. I did a draft where it was about a giraffe. I can't remember, like an evil giraffe or something like that. And I was like, no. I sat back to myself and I said, no, kids have thoughts. I don't have kids. Kids have thoughts. Kids have brains. We need to make them use their brains. So the whole point of this one-shot is the moral dilemma at the end. The moral dilemma at the end is basically, do you give this thing back to the owner, or do you give it back to the person who's guaranteed to give you a prize? Basically, they're getting something that's stolen. They're getting an item that is stolen from somebody, that somebody stole from somebody else, but they don't know. So it's a moral dilemma at the end. And I felt like this was a good opportunity for kids to explore moral dilemmas and explore what they want to do in their own personal morals. And also, I thought this was a good opportunity for a parent to be like, well, I wouldn't like it if somebody stole it from me. I don't think that that's all, be able to teach morals to kids, because kids cognitively developing don't have the skills to have morals until they're like, I don't know, 6 or something, like 10. I have no idea. So yeah, that was the thing that I came up with. I came up with a moral dilemma to make it to where the kids had to think, but also it was age appropriate. Also, I will say, I used Zorn in this one because I personally love Zorn. Zorn are probably one of my favorite sentient races. I don't know. I also really like Modrons. I kind of have a Modron tattooed on me, but I really like Zorn a lot. Zorn are one of those races that I feel like is a lot more intelligent than people give it credit for. I mean, it does have an intelligence score that is pretty high, if I remember correctly. But I feel like it's more intelligent than people give it credit for. And so the children might walk up to the Zorn and be like, it's a monster! And then the Zorn starts talking and like speaking, and then they're like, wait a second, what is this? And so the kids would have a dilemma of like, oh, I want to kill monsters. Let's kill the monsters. But then these monsters are just as sentient as humans. What do I do with this? So that was kind of another moral dilemma that I decided to throw at these children. I don't know. I just had an idea in my mind that this was going to be a moral quandary for children, and that would be a good thing because you want your kids to come up with their morals outside of life. So that like in video games or in books or in like role play outside of life, so that whenever they have these scenarios in life, they don't hurt anyone. They don't have to go through the suffering and consequences of it being IRL. You know what I mean? I feel like that is the best way. But yeah, this one shot went through several iterations of it before I settled on the Zorn and getting the stolen item and just morally challenging the children in an appropriate way. And I originally, whenever I made this, I was like, I failed at making an age appropriate something that kids would actually enjoy. I failed at this, and I was very unhappy with this one shot. But I actually read it recently. And I was like, wait, this is actually kind of good. I'm actually really happy that I wrote this. And so that is how this one shot ended up making it into my loot letter, because I traveled and for an entire week, I was in Texas. And again, I didn't want to be working while I was in Texas, so I needed to pull from the archives. And just to let everyone know, this one shot is published. It is a one shot that has been put in a book. And if you want this one shot in writing, along with a bunch of one shots that I've written, I think there are like 11 one shots, and I wrote 8 of them or something like that. There is this book called Bountiful Bounties, that is produced by Crit Academy. And they are lovely little one shots that I've written throughout time. I feel like I've really improved from those one shots. But if you were curious to dip your toes into some of my writing that is actually published, that is a good place to start. I will leave the doobly-doo link in the doobly-doo down below to the Bountiful Bounties as well. But yeah, I think that is all from me. I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate your patience while I go visit my family. I will say next month's loot letter, I'm super duper excited because I think it's going to be a D100 chart. I'm going to try really hard to fill out this D100 chart and make it a D100 chart. I'm like determined that December is going to be a D100 chart because I love D100 charts. Rolling charts for like trinkets and stuff and weird stuff. I love those. I have them in my book, The Alex's Bombastic Oddities. At the end of the book, there's a bunch of rolling charts, and it's so much fun to make those, especially because I make them on Twitch with my community, so my community contributes to them. So if you want to contribute to the chart, you should come on Twitch. But yeah, so I'm super duper excited for December. That is something that I am really looking forward to. And again, I appreciate everyone's patience about allowing me to post old content. Not old content, but it's new to your eyes. You've never seen it before. But post content. Again, I just really appreciate that because I really wanted to spend time with my family, and I would not have been able to spend as much time with my family as I wanted to if I had not been able to just pull something out of the backpack. But yeah, no, I really, really enjoy the Zorn Meowton, which is what it's named, Zorn Meowton. That's a little, you'll get it, but it's named Zorn Meowton, and I would love for you to play this with your kids. I would love for you to play this with your kids and give me feedback on how your kids took it. Okay, but that's actually all for me. I really appreciate you guys' time. I appreciate you being here. And again, all links to all items for you to purchase and are free will be in the doobly-doo down below. Mwah! You're always welcome at my table, and I will see you in the next one.